My name is Gaurav Mishra. I run 2020 Social, which is a social business strategy firm. We build and nurture online communities. I also write about social media and social change at Gaurav. Previously, I co-founded Vote Report India, which is a crowdsourced election monitoring platform. The internet has played a big role in shaping who I am now. In 2007-8, when I was head of sales and marketing for Indica, I was going through this existential crisis where I was seeing on one hand that marketing was changing, and as a consumer, I was getting tired of being bombarded by ads. And on the other hand, as a marketer, all I knew was to do marketing and to bombard consumers with ads. So I decided to explore this arc of how marketing is changing, how consumers are changing, and started writing very actively about social media, online communities, permission-based marketing on my blog. And I also around the same time went off consumption for a year to explore this trajectory through this personal social experiment. I said for a year I'll not consume anything which is not a necessity. And between what was happening on my blog and what was happening in my off-consumption experiment, I ended up taking a sabbatical and going to Georgetown University in DC as a Yahoo Fellow to do research on how people in emerging countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, use social media, use the internet, use mobile as consumers and as citizens, and taught a course at Georgetown, like a whole full semester, on how businesses, civil society organizations and government can connect with people as citizens and as consumers using social media. And so now it has almost come back full circle. I'm back in India, and it's been almost a year since I've been running 2020 Social. And now I tell brands, work with non-profits, all sorts of organizations, and help them build online communities.
So we see that you have experimented a lot with your life and with your profession as well. So what kind of conclusions have you drawn from it? What should people work for, or what should companies work for?
So I'm a big believer in the idea that any organization, whether it's a cause-based organization or a brand, commercial organization, no organization or brand is a significant part of our lives as human beings. And I think it's important for organizations to understand that and try and figure out what is it that's important to people as people. And these are typically lifestyle causes or passions. And how can I carve out a space in people's lives around lifestyle causes and passion, and how can I connect my brand to that, and then engage with people as people. And some brands are beginning to understand that, most aren't yet, but I see this clear trajectory where most brands will do these kind of programs instead of doing interruption-based marketing.
More in your life, you have had a lot of experiences, and you went through many interesting phases. What is the best part of all of it? What is the best phase, and why?
So I think after going to the extreme of living it up for living it up to not consuming anything which was not a necessity for a year, from the two extremes of working in a large Indian corporate house for 6 years to becoming a quasi-academic, and to now starting up a niche consulting firm, what I've learned is this. I think I've learned that I'm happiest when I'm doing something which excites me so much that I don't know when work ends and play begins, and vice versa. And I'm in that happy state right now, where even if I was not making a single rupee, I would still be doing this. And it's good that I do make a little bit of money. So this is, and it's important. It's important to to stop thinking about each piece of work as a step in the ladder to the next piece of work, to the next big role, to the next gig, and say, what makes me happy today? And how can I do this? Even if it led to nothing at all, is this worth it in itself? And I've learned to live life like that, and it works.
Let's come to your area of expertise, and that is social media. One of the issues that is being talked about a lot in social media is measuring the impact of social media running initiatives on the workings or the efficiency or profits or whatever you can say of an organization. Such metrics. What kind of metrics do you use to measure your impact on your clients' performance?
So the metrics which need to be used for social media and online communities are the same metrics which businesses use for measuring everything else. These need to be business metrics. These need to be, in the end, they need to be metrics about, did you reduce cost because you started a customer support forum where consumers answer each other's questions and your call center traffic volume goes down? Is there cost deflection? Those kind of metrics. Metrics on how many leads did you get from this business to business community that you built. Metrics about, has your customer satisfaction score gone up because you created a community to engage with young mothers? Did you get product ideas because these young mothers tell you how they use your products? What role do your products play into their families and their lives? So the metrics are in the end business metrics, and there are intermediate metrics around number of registrations, amount of content created, number of mentions, and so on. But I'm a very big believer that unless you bring them down at some level to business metrics, it doesn't really make sense. The problem with several organizations is that they don't measure these business metrics to begin with. If you're doing a television campaign, what are the metrics you're measuring there apart from how much money you spent? If you're adding 50 more people to the sales team, what is the metric you are tracking there? Can you track how many leads got generated because you increased the sales team size from 50 to 60? If companies can track those metrics, then the same companies can easily track social media metrics too. If companies can't track traditional business metrics, then they can't track social media metrics.